right. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much for being here
For sure.
on such a short notice too. Like,
I know. It was last minute.
yeah. Well, I get you to like introduce yourself to the people real quick, so they know who you are and where to find you if they need to.
Yeah. My name is Rachel. I go by Auntie Ray
Okay.
and all my social media. You can find me on Instagram or Snapchat.
All right.
That's where I'm at.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's Auntie Ray.
Auntie Ray, yeah.
Auntie Ray. Okay, we're gonna need to get that down so that we make sure. How's life?
Life is good.
Okay.
Yeah. This year, I'm glad I'm here, to be honest. I could
Okay.
be asleep,
Yeah.
but I wanted to start my new year just like right,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Started off with a bang right off the back. Boom. A
yes.
podcast first.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, today's podcast is about relationship. It's about the current world and where we live and everything like that. So let's get into that. What's your take on relationships today and how you see it?
That's a good question. I think every relationship starts with self, like with yourself. You can never have a good relationship with anybody around you if you don't have a good relationship with yourself, your inner self, your mindset. You know how you think.
Mm-hmm.
You will never be able to accept other people how they are
Mm-hmm.
if you don't accept yourself first. So,
Oh,
yeah.
that's such a great point. Loving yourself first. Do you do you think that we spend a lot of time like how does one even go about loving themselves? Do you think like if you don't love yourself, therefore you couldn't love someone else?
I, that's how I think
Okay.
personally. And I feel like I don't know, like to get to know yourself, you have to like isolate yourself from everything.
Mm-hmm.
More like it. That's how I had to learn,
Okay.
like the hard way anyway. But I just basically put myself out of like every situation, just try to deal with myself and what
Right.
I was dealing with deep down inside myself
Yeah.
and what was stopping me from like achieving my goals or anything like that. And I like developed this relationship with myself and I learned how people are and it's easier for me now to like have relationships,
With
because
people.
then yeah, I don't expect anything from them.
Yeah.
I just accept them for who they are,
Right.
basically. Yeah.
Do you feel like a lot of women are in tune, are on that same page? Do you feel like a lot of women are in tune with themselves and, you know, in that regard?
From what I've seen, most women are getting to that, but like
Okay.
we're all raised differently, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most of us are raised, well, to make like a man happy. Literally, like you could live your whole life as if you grew
Okay.
up in an African environment, or
Right.
like in a household,
Yeah.
like you are supposed to be like the heart of the home.
Right.
Yeah, you have,
That's the woman you mean?
yeah, as a
Yeah.
woman,
Okay.
and like you have to literally create your life just around one person, which
Right.
is your husband, your future husband.
Right.
But and like we don't get to learn who we are, and it's so hard to get in tune with ourselves because we never had that time to learn who we are.
Okay.
We're just always taught to learn the people around us, but not ourselves.
So you're saying um, those type of relationships from the past limits the woman the opportunity to discover who she is
Basically.
and be able to self-express. So is that something like we want to step away from now? Are we stepping away from that? And what's going to replace it?
I don't think it's something you can step away from.
Okay.
It's just something you need to learn. I don't know. Before like you have this person in your life. We're talking about like intimate relationship.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. You have to understand who you are. You know what I mean? Like you have to give yourself that time. And I do have lots of conversations with my mom. Um, I'm sure she's okay with me putting this out there, but she's married like 4 times.
Okay.
Yes. And all her relationships were just disasters until the last one I get
Wow.
right now. Yeah. So for her, like what she has taught me or told me as I grew up is just you can never make a person happy if you're not happy within yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's married now, but she has been married full time.
Yes.
What would you say is the biggest lessons that you learned from her?
It's a lot
Okay.
when it comes to relationships.
Yes, yes. Intimate relationship, not like friendship or like any of that stuff, like something that you can use in your life, in your own personal life, I say.
Well, I would say a lot. She's like my hero, to be honest.
Okay, in
And I
what
feel like
sense?
she had to go through that life she's went through just for me to learn, to understand like
Right,
what is a relationship? What am I looking for in a relationship?
right.
Who do I want to be with in a relationship?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I would say a lot, to be honest. But one factor I would say is she always say, never waste your youth around one person.
Okay.
Yeah, even if you are in a relationship, make sure like you put yourself first. You can never put somebody else. You can never forget who you are just because you're just in a relationship.
Right.
And that's one of the mistakes she's made in the past.
Okay. That she didn't put herself first, so
Yeah.
didn't she put other people before her?
Yes.
Okay. I can see how that could be a healthy advice.
Yeah.
Um, but I could also see like how that could be taken out of context and it could turn into something completely negative.
Oh, in what way?
Well, you know, um, I think okay, so a scenario would be where, say, you put yourself first because you want to show yourself love, you want to know who you are, and then through knowing who you are, you can always uh, reciprocate that love and pass that on to someone else.
Yeah.
But let's say in a situation where you have, I'm sure for some women that'll come very easy, and for some men as well. But I also feel like for a lot of women, particularly the ones that haven't taken the time to fully understand what the philosophy around that idea is, could definitely could misuse that like anything else. But not just women, it's not just limited to women, probably for men as well.
Um, I guess I could see how you see that, like just how you just explained it. I could see like how it would be a negative thing, but it's like you have to understand your partner too. Like you can't just jump in a relationship when you don't have the same values with the person. You have to understand they're their own person. They they want different things from you. They have different careers, choices.
Right.
Yeah, and everything that adds up to that. I feel like when it comes to like having a family, that's when you kind of have to compromise when you have children, right? But if it's just the two of you, you still have to do your own thing and let your partner do your own
But what does that
thing.
mean though? Do your own thing.
Do your
Do
own
your own
thing.
thing. Do your own thing.
Do your own
Yeah, do
thing.
your own thing. What does do your own thing mean? Like, let's break that down. What is that?
Yes, do your own thing.
Okay.
To me, just don't compromise who you are, your peace of mind.
Okay.
Just like we all have different desires in life. And you will not always be on the same page with the person you're in a relationship with.
Right.
So just don't compromise yourself, basically. Like do
But if
things
we
that
don't
make you happy.
compromise, how do we achieve this relationship? Isn't relationship all about compromise?
I do not agree.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
it shouldn't be about that. Like I
Okay.
said, compromise should come when you guys have a family. Now you have people with little children,
Okay.
little people you have to take care of. So I feel like that's when compromise should come in. I do not agree compromise in a relationship should be such a thing at all. I feel like
What would
there
be an
should be
example?
understanding,
Okay.
not compromise.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But I'm still trying to get exactly what we compromise is. So let's say let's say you're in a relationship with a guy, right? What are we compromising? What would you consider things that are compromised and things that are not compromised?
Like, you can give me an example. Like,
Okay, so when you say compromise, are we speaking of like, you know, scheduling time to hang out, or if you're living with the person, are we talking about like who's taking care of what in the relationship? What I'm trying to understand what the compromising is.
compromise is like, let's say I want to like pick a restaurant, right? Like,
Okay.
we're going on a date, but you want to go somewhere else,
Okay.
let's say. But then I don't like somewhere else you're going,
Okay.
right? And then I'll just be like, you know what? Let's just go where you want to go. That's compromise.
Okay.
You're
Okay.
basically just letting the other person, you know.
Yeah, go. So
How
you're
about
saying don't compromise.
don't compromise?
Okay, so
Like, don't do something that make you uncomfortable in the first place.
okay.
Yeah. Understand your partner's like desire. I don't know. I feel like they should be more understanding
Yeah.
than compromise. You know, I don't like this place, and I know you like the other place.
Right.
How about we just choose a different place to go? Like, why do we have to choose
But we're
in
still
between?
compromising though.
But it's different this time. Like, I'm not doing what you want to do,
Okay.
and you're not doing what I want to do. We're just doing something like we have to come together
That's
and make,
interesting.
yeah,
That's very
and
interesting.
make a different choice.
Okay. Okay. So you don't like I don't like your restaurant, you don't like my restaurant. Let's go to a different place.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting. That's a very interesting concept. But I feel like that's probably like a very simplified version of
That's
what happens
I
in
wanted,
real life.
Yes, but that was just
What
an
would be
example.
something more like serious? Like, what would be something like in a relationship? You're like, I'm not doing that. First of all, okay, if you're in a relationship, should you be allowed to see multiple people? Let's get to that part and clear that air out.
Multiple people, like polygamy,
Well,
or
yeah, some
just
people
like
called it
open
that, or some people just
relationships,
called it like sneaking around. But
or like then you're cheating.
yeah,
You're not in a relationship anymore. You're just doing what you want to do.
okay.
Yeah.
So that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like, okay, if the other person wants to see other people,
Okay.
that's a conversation to have.
Okay.
And if I'm not comfortable with it,
Okay.
then what are we doing?
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I don't know, yet understanding. But if that person, like, he wants to explore, I would rather, like, again, compromising my peace of mind or just compromising myself, I let them go and let them do what they have to do, but we cannot be in the relationship anymore.
Right.
Yeah. There is a choice. Like, I will not compromise
Have
who
you
I
ever been
am.
in that situation where somebody wanted to exploit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have. But like I said, I had a choice to make,
Okay.
and I let them go.
Okay.
Like that, I was not comfortable about that.
Okay. So
Yeah,
you,
and
you
this,
move on.
yeah.
Okay. But I think that's that you have to find the right person for that. Some
Also,
people
like,
don't
easier said than done, because you can be really deep in the relationship.
That's
and
true.
Yeah, and that would break a person, you know.
That's true. You've been cheated on before?
Not that I know of, no.
Not that you know of. You cheated on anybody before?
No.
Okay. I thought you were gonna say not that I know of. I'd be like, okay, now we know. Now we're getting someplace.
No.
Okay, so what's your take on like modern relationship in terms of like, how men and women are currently getting along or not getting along at all? Like,
It's crazy to me. There's so much like bitterness between, especially like our generation. A lot of young women are just like, can I swear?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
you can do whatever.
No, they'd be like, oh, fuck niggas, like
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, what is that about?
And most men would be like, oh, she's a hoe, or like if she's talking to multiple people at the same she might not even be sleeping with them.
Yeah,
But as long as you're talking to a different person, then
Right.
yeah,
she
you're a
qualifies.
hoe. Yeah.
She's like a whore now.
Yeah.
Okay, but would you be comfortable with a guy talking to multiple women? Why is he talking to you or trying to get you? And you find, let's say you go
like
to
if
hang
I
out with him.
knew, That's difficult. Like, okay, that's a choice I have to make.
Okay.
But then, like, I have to put boundaries around that. If I was interested in you in that way, and I knew you were talking to other people,
What if you didn't know? That scenario where you just don't know.
if I didn't know, then that's even worse.
But then you'll
I'd
find
rather
out
know.
maybe at a dinner he leaves his phone, forget himself, and boom, 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 things are coming in. Heart emojis. You know how heart emojis are. They're very real.
I'd be interested in like the explanation. Like, what do you have to say about yourself?
Okay.
But other than that, if you still want to pursue other people, then that's it for me.
Okay. So you're a monogamous person, you would say?
Yeah.
Okay, you're more of okay, not a polygamous. Okay.
Yeah.
Um that's interesting. So I heard this. First of all, are you a feminist?
I like to think so, yeah.
Okay, can you define? Because I heard like there's four different category of feminists. Which one are you?
I don't know. How many are there?
There's four.
Oh.
I don't even know the definitions, to be honest with you.
Can you state that? I've never heard.
I heard it the other day. There's different facets of feminism. Apparently, there's like four. There's the original one that everybody know about, which is basically women want to be equal and just want to have some type of the original idea. And then now there's like three others that I don't really know, but I was in this chat room on Clubhouse with some women that was defining it. Anyway, one of their stands, they recommended that black babies should not be half. They should be aborted because they're dangerous. What do you say to that?
What?
It's like sorry, not black babies, black boys, not the girls.
Just
In other words, if you get pregnant, you get pregnant with me, and you have a boy.
that's insane.
Yeah, they're like, yo, let's execute
No men.
because it's dangerous.
What kind of world would it be? And only black boys. Like,
Oh, yeah, these are black
what
women.
kind of what?
Yeah.
So they just like what? I don't understand.
Oh well, understand it. So basically, these women don't really want anything to do with black men. They believe that black man is the dirt of the earth. Black man is evil. Black man is this. Black man is that. Black men abuse their women. Black, 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 black. Anyway, so they're trying to find solution. But what baffles me the most is that all these women have babies. I'm trying to figure out why is it that you have babies then become a feminist? How does that work? Why didn't you become a feminist before, baby?
I feel like these are people who are hurt and they're just bitter. Like, how could you say that?
Yeah.
You know, that's crazy to me. I've never heard of that.
They said no more black sons.
Oh my
I
goodness.
literally have the audio because I recorded it.
And these were black women.
These are black women.
I don't know what kind of feminists they are, but I don't want to be part of it.
Yeah, well,
Like,
it's
that's
full
crazy.
category. In fact, they have this other thing too. This is one scenario. So let's say you grew up in like a ready, let's say you grew up in a suburb. I'm a woman, and I grew up, say, in like some remote area. I'm used to abuse and things like that. They will say to you that you have no. They will say you're privileged, even though you're black. They say you're privileged, and that you have no right talking on behalf of my struggle because my struggle is entirely different from you. So they actually, I didn't realize that the women themselves have segregated within the black women. That there are steps now. If you grew up in the suburb, you're a different type of black woman. We don't want to hear anything you got to say because we grew up over here. If my husband abused me and your boyfriend didn't abuse you, we don't want to hear anything to say. You're like a different type. Oh, it's wild, and yeah, things like that.
I know there is a difference, yes, but not everybody should like not be told not to speak out. You could even grow up in a suburb and still be abused, and nobody knows, right?
Right.
Yeah. But that's crazy. Like I said, I feel like these are people who are very hurt and they're just bitter in their hearts and things like that. Like, it's just a sensitive topic if you cannot relate to them.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Here's another question for you. Do you believe that men and women should sleep around as fairly? Like if a man sleep around a whole bunch, women should be able to do that too.
Yeah, my body, my choice.
Okay, so
Yeah.
a woman should be able to sleep around just as much as the man is sleeping around.
I, like is that in a relationship or just like what
Well,
is
no, just in
this?
general.
Just in general, like
Yeah,
I'm
single girl.
single and I'm just like
Yeah,
out here living life.
yeah,
Yeah, like yeah. I've seen like so many like videos on the internet where like a guy they would ask a guy like would you accept a girl who has like this many bodies,
yeah,
and then they would say no, and then they would ask him how many like bodies do you have,
yeah.
and they're even beyond that.
Right.
That's just
You
double
think it's
standard.
hypocritical? Yeah.
Yes, I do not agree with
But do
that.
we understand like why maybe that is at least? Now, I don't agree with the concept, but in a relationship, like who's doing what in the relationship? Like I personally, I've done my dirt. I'm over that.
Yeah.
Right? That's in the past. But I'm just saying, like in a relationship, like who's doing what? Because a lot of men feel like because they're doing the bulk of things in the household and in the relationship, whether it's taking care of you, paying for this, paying for that, whatever, they feel like they should have the liberty since they're the kind of like the breadwinner. They should have the liberty to do whatever it is they want to do, and that should be fine. As a woman, because I guess you don't do the same thing as well. You're not a breadwinner or whatever. Also, you should yeah, you shouldn't. Men doesn't so much value you, the woman who has a whole lot of body count.
What is like having a body count? I don't know. Like, I just feel like it's just, I don't know. Like, if I'm single,
Hmm.
right, I am allowed to do whatever I want,
Oh no, for sure.
you know? And if I end up in a relationship and this man finds out that I've been sleeping
Hmm.
around a lot,
You've
I
been
mean,
taking naps.
yeah. um, that's his choice to want to stay in the relationship with me.
Or
But
leave.
if he's gonna leave just because of how many people I've slept with, then he never even like loved me or anything like that. Because
Yeah.
it's never be about like sex. I don't know. If you're in a relationship, it's just more than that.
Hmm.
You know, it's about intimacy, love, growth. I don't know, understanding, and just you know learning the other person and being infatuated by them.
Yeah.
So if you get to the point where you're like, oh, there's many bodies, I can't have you, like then we were never meant to be in the relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of men have issues with it.
Yeah. What do you say about that as a man?
Well, I'm a man, so it's like I'm not. It's not my gig because
Like, why do you think men
I
should
feel like
sleep
women
around more?
legit.
Yeah.
Well, I also feel like men shouldn't sleep around a whole
Mm-hmm.
bunch, but I also feel like if a man has already done it, good. Halftime, clean things up. But the thing is, I think men are able to do that, sleep around
Consequences or
without not just consequences, but without being super crippled by the whole experience. I feel like a lot of women meet a lot of dudes, whatever. You may not care for half those guys, but there's a few of them you will care about, and that could lead into a heartbreak type of situation. And you could, women don't get over that thing very easily. They take that thing. I met so many women that it's like the trust issues is just like over here, even though I'm not doing anything. But it's like, and I feel like it's just a lot of trauma, first of all, to try to deal with. Now that we're giving it a name, we didn't have a name for it before, but now we know it's called trauma. You know what I mean? So I just
yeah.
feel like just right off the back, it's hard to maintain a healthy relationship. And I think for men, they kind of look down on a woman in a way. It's like, well, she been with this person, that person, whatever, you know.
Then like she's worthy of
Yeah, and that
nothing.
she will probably just go back, if a woman
Well,
doesn't.
I would think the same way about a guy if he's been sleeping around like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, but like I said, I don't know. It just has to be the other person's choice to accept me for who I am.
Hmm.
Um, okay. I think you mentioned about like a man being a breadwinner and like then
Yeah,
he
actually, that
thinks he
was the
can.
next thing I was gonna go to. I was
Yeah.
like, let's not forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then thinking like, oh, I can do whatever I want
Yeah.
since I'm the breadwinner,
Right.
but that's not right. This is a relationship at the end of the day,
I
you
agree with
know.
that. I agree. It's not right. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you decide to sleep around, like, what are we doing? You know, why
Right.
are we here? You know, like, I don't know. It's a conversation to have.
Okay.
Something like, okay, I've heard that. Let's not forget that men actually do also have feelings. They feel neglected at home, especially if you have a child at home, all the attention's gonna go to that child,
Right.
right? And so they start looking for the attention outside the marriage or relationship and such. So I feel like you need to just sit down with your partner and have a conversation.
Yeah, have a grown conversation
Yeah,
about where you want to go and how you want to run your
exactly.
relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think that's a healthy way to look at it. I think people do need to have this conversation. But I also feel like, I mean, me personally, it's just a place where I wouldn't go because, I think as a man, I should grow. You start to acquire certain things in your life and you start to put more value to those things. And of course, you don't want that to get mixed up with you getting caught up with, like, if it's not working out, you just kind of have a conversation like, hey, listen,
Mm-hmm.
it's been great, but really at this point, it's just not working out for me anymore. I think that's like a fair thing. But I
Mm-hmm.
also read this book, and I've forgotten what book it was. It talks about how a lot of people, it was they mentioned about college students, girls,
Mm-hmm.
how when they've had so many sexual encounters in marriage, their marriage tend to suffer as the consequences of that. Because once they have a kid and they're not in a marriage, they tend not to have that same sexual appetite that they had before, and that kind of like cause their marriages to, go downhill because there's no more sex in the marriage,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think the speaker, I can remember her face, but I just don't know. I think it was a TED talk I was watching, and it's like it gave this sort of scenario where the husband would come from work and just stay in his car, doesn't want to go in his own house. You know what I
That's
mean? Yeah, but it says that statistic has found like women who are sexually active like that, you know, their marriages tend to suffer.
so like the sexual drive goes down. Is that
The
what you
sexual
said?
drive go down, or they're just not, it's like, because they have so much of it in
Mm.
college or whatever, they exploit too much, took
Yeah.
too many naps, and
Mm-hmm.
now everybody's passed out.
Yeah.
you
And what
know.
did they say about those who didn't have as many sexual encounters?
Well, suggested that their relationship tends to still maintain that sexual excitement for their partners and things like that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I think there's a whole. I don't think it's just the act of like sleeping around, because we all know now every time you have that experience with somebody, you kind of leave a part of yourself with them, and you kind of take something else from them as well. So I think it's that whole thing.
Mm. Yeah. What would I say about that? I don't know. I feel like the marriage is already doomed to be over. It doesn't matter how many sexual encounters you've had. I
Yeah.
don't think so. Um, I've known people um who got married and they were just like high school lovers, and they never had sex until their marriage, or they probably had sex a few times just before their marriage. There's still a spark there, right? But their relationship is just,
Yeah, I
I
wouldn't
don't think,
recommend that. It's like one
yeah.
extreme to the next.
you know,
I think that whole
it depends on the person you're in a relationship with.
yeah,
And like, this is what I tell my mom all the time. Every relationship you're in, and like an intimate relationship,
right.
you should be in therapy, because there are
I
things
like
we
that.
keep to ourselves
Right,
so many times.
right,
We cannot just open up to our partners.
right.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
So
yeah,
you need to sit down with a professional.
yes.
Okay, so
And I
you're
feel
open
like
to the idea of a therapy anyway.
I am.
Okay,
Yeah.
have you done it?
No, I
Okay,
haven't.
or contemplating?
Yes,
All
I should.
right. We all should, like
Yes.
literally, we should all just be in therapy, just standing in the lineup like
Absolutely.
we're here
And
for help.
especially if you're involving someone else in your life.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, So okay, let's go back to the breadwinner and that type of situation. I thought that's where you were going to go, but you didn't actually get there. So in a relationship, do you believe in 50-50? Like, how should that be arranged? What's your position on that?
It depends on what your partner wants.
Everybody
Like,
says it
yeah.
depends. I mean,
Yeah, like we're all different. We
mhm.
want different things. I know my mom wanted to be just a home mom.
A housewife.
Yeah, housewife,
Still
just
to this day.
till this day,
Okay.
right? And luckily, all the men she's ever married like to work as well. They like to go make their money, come home, and just relax and go to bed. Just like no more
These are African men.
fam. No, she's married to African men and to a white man.
Oh,
She's in a
50
relationship.
50.
Yes.
You got that 50?
Yeah, she
I
did.
got it.
Yeah. But she does not recommend marrying an African man.
She doesn't.
Not.
Okay, now we're getting into something. All right, why is that?
Why? Because there's so much demand in the relationship
Okay.
for a woman.
Hmm.
There's like, if we just married, pop out a child right there and then, and people have like different things they want in their lives, right? And control. There's a lot of control. Or you can't speak to this person, or you can't wear what you're wearing right now, or you can't speak the way you were speaking. You were a little too loud, or you would, there's so much control.
What's your background, by the way?
I'm Rundis.
Rundis.
Yeah.
Okay. Wonders, Rundis. Okay.
Yeah.
Seems like people, right? I hope I don't
Yeah.
mess that up. Don't come for me, please. I'm still trying to learn my geography here. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and the men she married were traditional from Rwanda's?
Not one Rundis, one Somali,
Okay.
and yeah, two white other men.
Two white men from Canada or one from
Canada here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And okay, so she I mean, and that's based on her experience.
Yeah.
I know like traditionally I'm almost curious, I feel like I should be having a conversation with her because I would like to know how she met these men. Because a lot of the time they come as like friend recommendation or, through parents, hookup, whatever type of deal,
Yeah.
marriage, those type of things which keep the traditional alive and going and whatnot. I'm not necessarily like a traditional person myself.
Funny story. She was supposed to have an arranged marriage when she was 15 years old.
Okay.
And she is a free spirit. She doesn't like control. She just want to be,
Yeah, some people are like that. Some women are like that. Birth from birth.
Yeah. So she kind of like left home right before that. And she's been on her own ever since, which is crazy. But like she decided that life for herself. She's like, this is not what I want for myself.
Okay.
This is not it.
And are you more like your mom?
Me? Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. I'm more calm and she's more like out there. But when it comes to choosing myself, basically, yeah, I just want to be free.
Okay.
I don't like to be tamed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Being team, like, can't do this, can't do that.
Yeah, don't tell me what to do.
It's wild. Too many.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Did we 5 more minutes? Okay. Did we answer the questions about how you said it depends on, I guess, what the partners make, what each people make?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of guys, like actual men, take pride in paying for stuff.
Paying for stuff.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of men take pride.
Not the men that I've met.
Oh no,
they're like a 50-50.
Fellas, what's going on? I need to have y'all on the podcast.
This men nowadays, they want to be taken out. They're so sus. Like, what?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
They're crazy.
What's your dating preference? Black or white?
Me?
Or Chinese?
Like
Let's
black.
put Chinese there too and Filipinos.
I like black men.
Okay, you like black men. Despite what your mother said, you're going
Yeah.
against your mother's advice. You're like, I can't do it. So why not white men? What's going on? Why you got to hit on my brothers like that? Don't worry, guys. I'm advocating for y'all. Don't even worry. Don't trip.
No, I don't know. That's my preference.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're finding it hard, black men paying for stuff.
Nowadays, I don't find it hard. Was that your question?
Yeah, that's the question.
No, I don't find it hard for like black men to pay anything. Sure, like spoil me, make me feel special. That's okay if you're okay with it.
Yeah.
But if you're not like, if you don't have enough money, if you know, we can go 50-50.
Yeah.
That's fine with me.
Okay.
Yeah,
Would you say you're a high maintenance chick?
I could be. Yeah, I am.
Okay. Define that. What would be like a an example of that?
Like high maintenance.
Yeah, like you're like demanding. You've got to serve you breakfast in bed, give you foot massage. Like what
Oh.
we doing?
Okay, I didn't know that's what he meant, but no.
Oh no. But what do you quantify as high maintenance?
Um, I don't know what definition I had in my head, but that's not what it was.
That's not what you were thinking?
No.
Okay, okay. But you do require attentions and
Yeah.
okay. All right, I think we're pretty much like done here. Oh, we still going? Or we still with it? Oh, we got time. Um, what would you? What advice? Two things. What advice? The first is what advice do you have for modern days women? Oh, by the way, you're reading this book, something France, France
Nice
in
is a
France,
nice
and you say
place in
bad bitch, and you
France.
say you like the book. That's your favorite book. Why is that book your favorite book?
It just talks about empowerment.
Women empowerment.
Yes.
Okay.
And
You told me not to read it, but I'm very curious. I'm probably gonna read it.
you should.
I'm
You're gonna
I'm
be surprised.
super curious. Yeah.
It's like in a weird way, but other than that, like the advice the book gives me itself is just empowerment, self love, and just self understanding as
With
well.
with all that though, are you like would you say you're a submissive person or not?
I think I am.
You are?
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised after all this conversation. I'm like, what?
It depends.
What
No, 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 no,
depends
no.
on
Okay.
what? Whoa, whoa. There you go again. Depends.
No. I'm submissive. If I let you enough in my life, then I know I could be submissive around you. Like
So
yeah.
typically you're not submissive.
Yeah.
So you're not a
Unless-
submissive woman.
Yeah.
Okay, we should put it out that she's not submissive. So
I could be, but I'm not.
you're not.
Mm-hmm.
Is that just like purely out of rebellion? It's like not wanting to do it. Like it's just like I don't want to do
how
it.
I was raised, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah.
Okay. So you grew up in a single parent home then?
Yeah.
Okay. You and your mother tight? What about your father?
My father died when I was very young.
Sorry to
I
hear
don't
that.
know much about him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's great. Any questions you have for me?
Um,
A dying question. Not even for me, just for the guys.
you need to pay. I was just kidding.
Do you believe in diary, by the way?
Sorry, what?
Your tradition, does it celebrate diary? Are you like,
Yeah.
do you care about that? Is that like one of the things that a man has to have?
It's not like the most important thing, but if you do it, that's all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not mandatory.
It isn't, no.
Okay. So, okay, I'll have to bring you back here. After I talk to a few more people and pick some more brain and whatnot, and try to catch up on some things that we're missing out on. Okay. Well, listen, I want to thank you
Thanks.
for being brave first and foremost, and walking up in here and sitting down and having this conversation about relationship. Yeah, and by the way, you're single or you're taking or you're in between?
single.
You're single, or you just like
I'm single.
okay, all right, that means
Yeah.
you're single, all right. Because sometimes it's like a maybe kind of deal. You have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
But no, that's super dope. I want to thank you so much for being on the podcast today, and everything. I think this is like super cool.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a slice.
Yeah.
So fellas, be sure, please, just try, pay, borrow from your buddies, do something.
I'm kidding.
Remember, you got to win her heart first before you be like, hey, I'm broke. I don't have this now. Maybe tomorrow or something.